Have you ever felt that you've had five business ideas open at the same time, maybe three half written offers, a notebook full of ideas, trainings, you name it, and yet you still felt super unclear about what you were going to focus on because you were doing all these different things? Well, most ambitious, thoughtful entrepreneurs, they don't struggle with ideas. They actually struggle with clarity and landing their vision. Now, you can map everything out on Sunday. You can feel clear for 48 hours. And by Wednesday, you're questioning all of it again. And sometimes even just starting to create new things. If that cycle feels familiar to you, this video is going to make a lot of sense. And I'm going to give you some ideas of how to navigate that throughout this series. I'm Rachel Britton. I'm a clinical licensed psychologist and also a sustainable growth and clarity business coach. And I work with multi-passionate entrepreneurs, coaches, and therapists who want to really grow without living in this constant exhaustion. And in my own journey, I used to think that clarity meant choosing the right strategy. If I just refine my niche, if I just tighten up my messaging, if I pick that perfect plan, everything will settle in and I will finally feel successful. But what I started to notice instead in myself, as well as with the clients that I work with, was that strategy wasn't the real problem. The problem was that I was only looking at the strategy. I was building blueprints, but I was ignoring my capacity. I was adding rooms while I was already stretched thin. I was stacking all these ideas on top of the fatigue that I already had. And when I tried to build my clarity, it didn't work because I was exhausted. I was disconnected and I was overloaded. And that is what happens to so many people. It's like trying to live in this house where the designs look beautiful, but none of the rooms are actually finished. In those moments, we have these ideas everywhere. We have projects started, offers half built, content drafted, vision boards that are full, but nothing feels solid. And that's when I realized that something was important that was missing. Clarity isn't just a thinking problem. It's a systems problem. And systems don't just mean tech or marketing funnels. They include your energy, they include your values, they include your identity, your beliefs about success, your real life capacity. And that's where the blueprint for balanced living came from. Because when our foundation, when our heart, when our mind all aligned, the projects that we have, they stop competing with each other and they actually start reinforcing each other. We stop jumping between all these different rooms and we actually start to finish the room so that there is more stability in the house. And that is what we are going to navigate in this 5-week series. We are going to learn that it's not just better to focus on strategy, but it's best to focus on our mindset shifts and how we're approaching these strategies. This framework is really focused on foundation, heart, and mind. So the foundation is our strategy. We do need to have a strategy because this is the structure of our business. These are our offers, our positioning, our plan. If our strategy isn't clear, everything feels unstable. So this is an area to focus on, but we also need the other two areas because you can't just mindset your way out of a confusing business. Heart is the second one. And this is a very important piece because even if we have a strategy, it will fall apart if we're not aligned with what we're doing. So you can build this perfectly logical plan and still feel resistance. That's the heart. The heart is our alignment. This is where we're asking ourselves, do I actually want this? Does this match the season of my life? Does this feel like work or is this enjoyable for me? If the strategy doesn't align with our heart, our subconscious mind, it will sabotage us. So it's really important to have that alignment. And then the third area that I really like to focus on is our mind work. And this is our beliefs. These are our internal barriers. When we look at mind work, we're looking at our fears. We're looking at those imposter thoughts. We're looking at those old stories about success or failure that are getting in the way of us building structure, of us building our strategies, of us looking at our values and being aligned within our values. So ultimately, overwhelm and burnout, it happens when our foundation, when our heart, and when our mind are out of sync. Those three things really need to be aligned within each other. Otherwise, we get stuck, we get burnt out, we get overwhelmed, we get fatigued. And that's what I want to help people navigate. Because again, building on strategy alone is not going to work. Clarity becomes sustainable when all three of these are addressed. We want that structure, alignment, belief work. And since we're all different and unique, we all have different patterns and ways that we need to build with these three different parts in order to have this cohesive, sturdy house. I feel like that is important to share because a lot of times we focus on what other people are doing, how they build structure, how they build alignment, how they challenge their belief system. But really, at the end of the day, it's tapping into what is most connected for you because that's what's going to drive you and motivate you the most. Now, I want to be clear though, because clarity, it isn't about fixing yourself. It's about building something that doesn't require constant fixing. And that's our goal, is to have a solid structure, genuine alignment, and supported growth as you are on this journey. So if this feels aligned with you, I really encourage you to check out the rest of the series. I'm going to be dropping a video each week after this. So make sure that you like this video and subscribe so that you don't miss out on next week's episode in this 5-week series. I hope to see you next week.